Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Karina or Karinate, and on this channel we do crochet, travel and lifestyle, and today is going to be a crochet day. I am making a tutorial for this book sleeve. I'm going to start the pattern now and I'm going to show you everything that you need. You will need Aran weight yarn of different colours. I'm using Drops Paris cotton and sugar and cream ombre. You will also need a 4mm crochet hook and something to cut your yarn with. I'm using some shears. You will also need a tapestry needle and some buttons for an optional closure. We will start by making an African flower granny square. So start by making a magic circle using your first colour, colour 1. I will put a tutorial for the magic circle in the description so you can learn how to do the magic circle for this project. I then chain 3 and double crochet into my magic circle. That's yarn over, pull through the circle, pull through 2 and pull through 2 again. I then chain 1 and put 2 more double crochets into the magic circle. I then chain 1 again. I then repeat my 2 double crochet, chain 1 until I have 8 repeats of 16 double crochets and 8 chains. And you need to make sure that you end on a chain 1, pull the magic circle closed and slip stitch into the 3rd chain. Then slip stitch into the next stitch. Place your hook into the chain 1 space and snip the tail of colour 1. Now pull through colour 2 and complete the slip stitch. Chain 3 in colour 2 and make sure to crochet over your tail end so you have less ends to weave in later. Place 1 double crochet in the same chain 1 space, chain 2 and place 2 more double crochets into the chain 1 space. You should have a chain 3, 1 double crochet, chain 2 and 2 double crochets in the same chain space. In the next chain 1 space, put 2 double crochets, chain 2 and 2 double crochets. You will now repeat this pattern until the end of the row. At the end of the row, slip stitch into the 3rd chain, slip stitch into the next stitch, and slip stitch into the chain 2 space. Still in colour 2, chain 3. In that same space, place 6 double crochets. This will total 7 double crochets, including the chain 3 as a double crochet. I'm now showing you how I'm counting my 7 double crochets, so you can see. In the next chain 2 space, place another 7 double crochets. And repeat this until the end of the row. Place your hook in the 3rd chain and yarn over your next colour. I'm going back to colour 1 and complete the slip stitch. Chain 1 and single crochet into that same stitch. Single crochet into the next stitch. Single crochet into the next 5 stitches. You shall now have 7 single crochets. Single crochet into the space between the 4 double crochets below as shown. And do another 7 single crochets into the next 7 stitches. Repeat this pattern until the end of the row. At the end of the row, place your hook into the first single crochet and snip the excess yarn. Complete the slip stitch with colour 2 or any other colour you'd like to use. Chain 1 and single crochet into the next 4 stitches. Do not single crochet into the same stitch as the slip stitch. Then place 1 half double crochet into the next stitch. And 1 double crochet into each of the next 2 stitches. Place 1 treble crochet into the next stitch, chain 3 and place another treble crochet into the same stitch. This will count as one of your corners. So now you're going to do 1 double crochet into the next 2 stitches. Followed by 1 half double crochet. And 4 single crochets. In the next stitch, you will now place a half double crochet and you'll repeat the same original pattern, which is 4 single crochets, 1 half double crochet, 2 double crochets, a treble with chain 3, a treble, and back to the original pattern. So you need to make sure you end on the 1 half double crochet in the same space as the slip stitch. And then slip stitch to the top of the single crochet of this row. Chain 1 and single crochet into every stitch until you get to the chain 3 space. In the chain 3 space, place 2 single crochets, chain 2 and 2 single crochets in that same chain 3 space. Then single crochet into every stitch and in each chain 3 space, place 2 single crochets, chain 2, 2 single crochets. Once you reach the end of the row, slip stitch into the first single crochet of the row, chain 1 and cut your yarn. That is the completed African flower granny square. You now need to crochet another 5 more squares to total 6 squares per book sleeve. At this point I steam my squares so they can be flatter and easier to sew together. I'm now going to show you how to construct the book sleeve. Place 2 squares with the wrong sides facing each other. Place your hook into the chain 2 spaces of each square. Yarn over and pull through, and then chain 1 to secure. Place another 2 single crochet into this same chain 2 space. Single crochet into every stitch until you get to the next chain 2 space, and make sure you're going through both the front and back square. At the end of the row, in the chain 2 space, place 2 single crochets and chain 1. And get the next pair of squares and continue this pattern. This is placing 2 single crochets in the chain 2 space, single crochet until the end of the row, 2 single crochets in the chain 2 space, and then add the final 2 squares. Now repeat this sewing pattern in the other direction. At the end of the last row, in the chain 2 space, place 1 single crochet, chain 2, turn your work and put 1 single crochet into the same stitch. Single crochet until you get to the end of that square. Single crochet into the last chain 2 space of both squares. Turn your work. Chain 1 and single crochet into the same chain 2, but only into the front square to allow for an opening where your book will go. Single crochet into the middle of the row. Single crochet into that chain 2 space, chain 1 and single crochet into the next chain 2 space. Then single crochet into every stitch until the end of the row. Single crochet into the chain 2 space of the front square, then chain 1 and single crochet into the chain 2 space of both the back and front square. Then single crochet until the end of the row. Place 2 single crochets in the chain 2 space, chain 1 and cut a long tail to weave in your ends. Using a tapestry needle, weave your ends into the first single crochet and weave your ends into the book sleeve. You should then repeat the same pattern of single crocheting around the whole sleeve. I will now show you how to do the closures for each book sleeve. Check the timestamps on the screen for the appropriate closure that you would like to use. For the button closure, pick 2 buttons to use. Place these buttons over the chain 2 spaces and use a smaller tapestry needle to weave the buttons in. And that is the finished product with the buttons. For the leaf closure, Make a slip knot and leave a long tail to weave your ends in. Using a 3mm hook, chain between 60 and 80 chains and make sure it's long enough to wrap around the book sleeve with a book inside. Cut and leave a long tail to weave in and sew the chain into the inner stitching. Check that the chain is long enough by placing a book inside the book sleeve and wrapping the chain around. Follow the leaf pattern in the description and sew this to the end of the chain. And this is the finished product. Thank you guys for watching my tutorial. I hope this was helpful.